Hey guys, I wanted to put together a clip just kind of showing you how to set up the three-way rig, the Texas rig, the Carolina rig. Some of you guys probably already know this on my friends list, but I keep getting asked this question, so I just figured I'd put together a quick tutorial. Just in a general rule of thumb of any of the videos you watched before, make sure that your Texas rig or your Carolina rig or your three-way rig all have, they're bits bigger than your line or equal to. Otherwise, you'll snap off. That way you can max drag it. To refer to maximizing your reel and stuff, look on one of my other videos to go more in depth on that. Now, on the three-way rigs, you actually can see that's kind of separate, so the sinker kind of drags behind it. Main rule of thumb is the drop sinkers will only work on the three-way rig. The bullet sinkers will work on the Carolina rig and the Texas rig as well. My personal preference is the Texas rig, but Carolina and Texas, all three work. But I'm going to go ahead and show you these clips, guys, and then you can go from there and decide what you want. But again, that's just how you set them up. So just basically, the three-way rig, you need drop sinkers. The offsets work on all three. Kind of, guys, too, what you want to do is figure out what you can control. In other words, whether you're using a Tropicana, whatever you're going to use, make sure you figure out what you can control. You can also see in this clip on the three-way rig, one reason I don't really like the three-way rig, they fight very similar to like a barbless jig head. This fish here fought like it was like 700 pounds. The line all goes crazy. I don't like the way they fight on barbless jig heads and jig heads in general. I will use them in certain instances on other lakes, but just again, this is kind of just to kind of go to show you a fish that I probably could have had in a little quicker. This thing runs away from me like it's a 440-pound uni. And down here, anybody that's fished this area, especially when you guys are first leveling up and maybe you don't have the gear that you need, an Isle Chaser or a Tropicana, this area can get you in trouble. So again, there's nothing wrong with a barbless jig head. You get a little more XP, but the offset hooks, if you can, get to, once you're leveled up and you can get to the 10 range, I would even, to be honest with you, I would use an offset 8 even versus the jig head, just for the amount of fight. Sometimes, again, maximizing your time kind of helps. But you can see this thing almost pulled me halfway across the map. Any guys that's been down here and experienced this, especially when you're first starting catching perch, it's almost as bad as being at the waterfall. And you can see this thing's just tearing into me. I'm cranking on it, and I don't know that I've ever had one spit the hook, but this reminds me, the three-way rig reminds me a lot of the barbless jig heads. Just kind of the way it fights, just kind of punishes a little more, where the offsets kind of get stuck in the side of their jaw, so to speak. But anyway, another little tip for you guys there. Okay, guys, this is me. I just set up a Carolina rig. I just kind of showing you. Um, I don't think it affects anything on bite rate, to be honest with you. Again, this is personal preference. Between the two, Carolina and rig and Texas rig are very similar. You're still going to get the same bite rate. Again, I think in a second, later on in the clip, I actually throw on a Carolina rig onto the Tropicana, just kind of show you the difference. Just so that helps you guys. Again, the three-way rig, you'll still get the bite rate. It's just they fight very similar to they would on a jig head. But as you can see on this right here, this is a Carolina rig, and it's pretty much just the same result. Decent bite rate, and nice fish. Again, I wouldn't be scared to use either one of them. In other words, Texas rig's not any better than Carolina rig. Both work really well. Again, guys, as you can see after switching over and casting out, this is, I think this just ends up being a common. However, you can see the big difference on how they fight. Uh, Kind of fights like a rock, but I would rather that than the rod all jerking around and acting crazy. So again, that's personal preference, up to you guys. Again, I had a couple of people asking me kind of how to set it up, but I figured I might as well throw one up on my channel and just kind of give you my point of view on things. Again, this stuff is kind of look through your labels and stuff, or your little explanations to the side. And sometimes it gives you a little bit of hint, just in case you didn't know. I figured I'd throw this up and help you guys out. Again, another rank up there, but the just the moral of the story is kind of just your own personal preference on what you want to set up. So I just, generally speaking, again, I not to beat the thing in the ground. The Carolina rig's fine, Texas rig's fine. That's just kind of how you set up. Just make sure that your rig, just like a leader or anything else, make sure it's as strong as your line or stronger, so that you can get max potential out of your rod and reel or your gear in general. So again, I hope you enjoyed. I tried not to stretch this out too much, but again, I condensed it fairly well for you guys and made it, I think, loud and clear.